policy around what kind of place you want to live in. The CAW today actually issued its own vision of what it would like the government to do around the auto industry. It's a 10-point plan, and I think we'll bring in Jim Stanford from the CAW to tell us about it. The union's senior economist with us now. Jim, great to have you here.
Hello, Amanda.
So it's 10 points. I actually want you to tell me the most important, because on the list are things like less free trade, not more. Forget about a European trade deal. Deal with the strong dollar. Have some kind of industrial policy around buy Canadian. Maybe even try to encourage an original equipment manufacturer here in Canada. Which is the most important? What do you want the government to do here?
Well, first, Amanda, I should tell you I brought in an autographed copy of it for Kevin.
That's very nice.
To Kevin, love Jim, because I know Kevin is going to want to keep this on his bedside table. So I would say if there is one single thing that's the most important, it's number one on our list, which is we need a national auto policy. And that in and of itself is a subversive idea when you're talking to people, not mentioning any names, Kevin, who think the free market takes care of everything that's required, so you don't need a policy for anything, whether it's milk, marshmallows, or the auto industry. If you look around the world at the leading, most successful auto-producing jurisdictions, every one of them has a deliberate, proactive strategy where government, business, labor, universities, scientists, all the stakeholders are engaged in a proactive effort to build an industry rather than sit back and wait for the market to do it for you. And I think philosophically, that's the most important aspect of our paper today.
Yes, I looked at your paper, and my list, and this is only personal opinion, it is a list of some very bad ideas. So let's just pick at a few of them. We'll start with this concept of protectionism in a global environment, in a global economy. You're asking us to be competitive in North America, yet you want to slam on protectionist strategies. Tell me why that's a good thing for any Canadian taxpayer.
Well, it isn't protectionist strategies. Our strategies are aimed completely at promoting trade with the rest of the world, as long as it's two-way trade that's mutually beneficial. The problem with our trade in automotive products, with everyone other than America, with America we've got a very large two-way flow, so both sides can be said to benefit. With everybody else, whether it's the Europeans, the Asians, or the Mexicans now, it's a one-way street. We import from them and we don't sell anything back to them. Why don't we? It has nothing to do with the quality of our products. It has everything to do with the nature of policy in those jurisdictions. So Korea, where the auto market is just about as big as Canada, imports virtually nothing. And it isn't about, again, superior Korean products. It's about the nature of policy in that jurisdiction, which has effectively closed the market to everyone else. So what we have to do is have a level playing field. Instead of wearing our Boy Scouts uniform out there and preaching free trade, no matter what everyone else does, we have to get down and hammer out genuine two-way trade relationships with those jurisdictions. That's not protectionist. That's pro-trade.
Jim, one of the tragedies here is that many of these countries you're competing with don't have labor unions. Their costs are lower, their products are more competitive, quality's the same, they cost less. Those countries that want to pay less for a car buy those cars from non-union manufacturers. What do you say to that?
Well, actually, Kevin, you're wrong on that score factually. The only place in the world where there are significant non-union auto assembly plants is Canada and the United States. Everywhere else, Japan, Korea, Europe, even Mexico, the unions are there, and the unions are relatively strong. So it isn't a question of them having no unions. There are issues about cost competitiveness, for sure, and the big negative on our side is the value of the Canadian dollar. 25% above its fair value if you look at relative price levels and relative costs. That overvaluation of the loonie imposes a cost penalty on our auto industry of about $3.7 billion a year. That's another reason government has to get involved, is to offset the distorting effect of the overvalued loonie on our auto sector.
All right, Jim, great to have you here. Hope
All right,
to have you
thank
back
you.
soon.
Kevin, I'll bring